You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel.
You were, after all, the person that sent me.
When the middle-aged diplomat is approached by the pretty stranger, after he has informed his superiors, of course, he should make every appearance of being bewitched by her. The middle-aged man should, to the outside world, seem like the old fool. Believe in her laughter, her compliments, her smile. If she should brush past him, he should indulge it, play the part of the captivated middle-aged man, slowly becoming besotted with the pretty stranger that has now come into his world. Send her flowers, chocolate, invites to parties, tickets for the theater. Make her become part of his world. Convince her she is the center of this world. I thought you might be away longer.
Did you?
Budapest at this time of year, the Danube twinkles in the summer rays.
I didn't notice.
You did not take a trip on the river.
It was not a holiday.
No, I suppose it was not.
I did not realize that it was hostile territory.
I see.
I had been led to believe. The locals were friendly.
Were they not?
No, they were not.
That's a shame.
Yes, it was.
But you saw some of the city.
I went to the chain bridge, as arranged.
And?
I was approached.
A man approached you?
No, a woman.
A woman?
Yes, a woman. I had expected a man. I had been told it would be a man. A man with a Russian accent.
But it wasn't?
No, it wasn't.
They were not in disguise.
Don't be stupid.
Please continue. I'm listening.
She spoke to me, in English. She knew who I was. She had been waiting for me.
You knew they would be.
I knew somebody would be. A man, not a woman.
You knew she was Russian.
Like I said, I recognized the accent.
Catherine, I know that here in the West we all sound Russian to the British.
I was once in Moscow.
As a secretary?
No, I was something else then.
I'm sure.
And I knew her.
How?
We had met before, 3 years earlier, in Red Square.
3 years you might have been mistaken.
No, I remembered her. That is why she was sent. A familiar face.
A familiar face, it's a trick we have used in the past.
I know.
So, you meet a Russian in Budapest on a bright sunny afternoon. 2 women on a bridge, east and west. You know that in the past it would have been 2 men in long coats and trilby hats. One would have said, "The eagle is flying south of the winter," and then waited for the correct response.
I guess you would have enjoyed that.
I would not have done it. Not my line, as you British say. I'm a diplomat. Unlike you, I don't stay in the shadow. Sorry, that was clumsy of me. May I now stand up out of this chair?
No, stay where you are.
Okay, what are you looking for now? I told you, I'm alone.
And I told you, there are vehicles at both ends of the street that do not belong to any of the residents. You say they are not with you?
No. What happened on the bridge?
I'll never get used to traveling underground.
I'm sorry. Are you speaking?
Would it be this far down in the earth? I don't know. Must be something to do with having no way out, if it all goes wrong.
Try not to think about it.
I guess that's the trick in this case. Don't let it get to me. Don't let it bother me. Try not to think about it.
Something like that.
But that, I find, is usually where people get it wrong.
Oh?
By avoiding what we don't want to think about, that can so often lead us into trouble. The trouble can so frequently be the first step in getting us killed. I mean, it all starts with that first step, but if you have to go, then you have to go. Just remember that some people prefer to look backwards. Maybe even live in the past. Ah, my stop.
We went for a walk.
Did she have backup?
There was a car and a couple of men on foot, following from a respectable distance.
You said you knew her. What was her name?
Irina.
And what did Irina want?
I think you know.
I wasn't there. I was here, in London.
But you told me to go.
I asked you to go. The final decision was always your own.
You are right. I didn't have to go.
Exactly.
I could have just stayed here. We could have ignored the invitation, ignored what you told us, pretended that we did not understand the message. We could have done that. Perhaps we should have. Maybe I should have. So, remind me, what did they say to you about the meeting on the chain bridge?
They said to the middle-aged man that once the pretty stranger was convinced of your feelings of affection towards her, that you should reveal tiny pieces of the puzzle to her. The threat to the world, to her own country, to those not yet born. Show her just how important she is to the safety of everyone on this planet. They said the pretty stranger worked for the intelligence services of her country, and rather than hide from her, I should use all my abilities to connect with the pretty stranger and use her to communicate unofficially with MI6. You, I think, were given similar instructions by your employers on the south side of the Vauxhall Bridge. I'm not wrong? I think.
You told me I should go.
Yes.
You said the Russians would not speak to the Americans on this subject, that it had to be someone from my service.
That is correct.
How did they know we would not tell Langley?
They did not. The Russians simply hoped to convey a message to the West. They were looking for someone to act as an honest broker to convey to those in authority.
You mean someone expendable?
Not to me.
Someone that would not be missed?
Someone I would miss very much.
Those vehicles are still there.
What happened on the bridge?
We talked. Just talked.
Catherine.
They can't afford to play the game anymore.
What game?
The only game that matters. The only game that anyone cares about.
I do not follow.
They no longer believe that America will attack them. With the lowering of the oil price, Moscow simply cannot keep paying out for a game that they believe only benefits the West. They won't do it anymore.
Then they have lost.
Not the way they see it.
The vanquished never do.
Russia no longer agrees to play our game. They just want us to get out of their backyard.
So, if the West agrees to pull back?
Leave Moscow's oil and gas pipelines intact, and they'll disarm all their nuclear weapons on a live stream available for the whole world to watch on the internet, on their mobile phones.
I see.
Can you imagine what the reaction would be to that in London? In Washington?
I'm sure they would be pleased.
Are you?
The capitulation of the Russian military.
It's not the military.
No, of course, the word will have come from the Kremlin, I'm sure. But it is still the military that will have to carry it out. The end of Russian dominance. This is a message that must be spread around the world. It is great news, Catherine. Your MI6 must be over the moon. I shall inform my government at once, or at least as soon as you permit me to leave this chair. May I now stand?
No.
In Moscow, they fear the generals. Too many that see conflict as a way to make Russia great again. The Kremlin does not see the weakening of Europe as a good thing. They may see leading only to nationalism and violence. You must make those in London understand that every time Europe turns in on itself, they are those only too willing to step forward. Those who advocate peace will always be a threat to those whose careers rely on war.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, don't be sorry, Catherine. I've only just arrived myself. Would you like a coffee, or shall we be English, have a tea?
I don't mind coffee.
2 coffees, please.
Righto.
How was your day?
We're preparing for a trip to Budapest.
Your whole department?
No, just the heads of department. 1 or 2 of the secretaries will go. But not me. I'm too far down the pecking order.
Maybe your chance will come next time.
I'd love to go. I've seen the photos and holiday films on the internet. Some of the girls were already choosing sunglasses.
It is nice in the summer. You should go. It's a different world, Catherine. If you ever get to go, you should try the spas. They are famous in Hungary.
I'll have to get a bikini. Perhaps you could show me the waters. One day.
I would like one day to show you all of my country. Out of the cities, it is very beautiful. Just like you.
2 coffees.
Thank you.
Should you be here? In a place like this?
A place like this?
A cafe? You being diplomatic staff, I would have thought you would have a minder with you.
Do I need one? My mother always warned me about being out late.
Are you going to be out late? Tonight?
Does that not remain to be seen? Will you be out late tonight?
I'm open to all offers.
You do not sound well, Catherine. Perhaps you should see a doctor. I have made some friends while I have been here. I could make a call on your behalf. I have a phone in my pocket. May I ring someone?
Leave it switched off.
Now, Catherine, I think you would agree that I have been more than patient this evening, indulging with your game, but you have never before drawn a gun on me, and I'm starting to feel a little uneasy with all this suspicious talk. It's like you and me are no longer friends anymore. You have brought back to the West great news, and we must inform the relevant office. You have done magnificent work, Catherine. You have made the world a safer place for millions of people. The Kremlin finally brought to its knees. I'm proud of you. Please, let me stand. Let me embrace you like a soldier. For we are warriors, Catherine. Warriors fighting a secret war that only we know of. I'm going to stand now. This is a great day.
Stay where you are, where I can see you.
This is no longer funny, Catherine. I have played your spy game, but now I must report back to my superiors. They will notice if I'm away too long.
Those vehicles are still there.
They are nothing to do with me.
After Irina left, her support car drove off.
Yes,
I started to walk back into Buda.
I'm listening.
Then another car pulled up, and 3 men got out. You told me I would be safe.
What? What happened?
2 in the back with me, a driver, and 1 in the front. We drove. We drove out of the city, away from people, away from anyone.
Was it the Russians?
It was a farmhouse.
Where they took you?
Small, deserted. The floorboards bounced when I stood on them. Light bulb, no shade. In a cellar, straight out of the movies.
I'm sorry.
Questions. In English, shouted, then quiet, then shouted again. Cold water poured over me, the threats of electricity. Then the slaps. Gentle at first. One of them quite slim, actually. Plain looking. Apologetic. He shouted, tap, tap, slap, slap, more apologies, more slaps. Each one getting harder. I had a cover story, of course. Hotel, tourist. Spoke to a stranger, another tourist for all I knew. Places I had visited. I even had receipts to back up everything I told them. They weren't interested. Slap, slap, fall off the chair, be put back on. They were, after all, as they kept telling me, gentlemen. They didn't enjoy hurting a lady. The man in the front seat, he seemed to be losing patience, so he struck me across the side of my head and I fell. And I cried and I prayed. Have you done that, Gabrielle? Prayed in your head with all your might that if there is someone, anyone out there that would help you, save you, get you out of the mess you were in, that you would go down on both knees and offer anything to survive. Have you ever been that frightened? That's a fear that you never forget. The big man raised me up again to the chair. I was screaming to God to save me. And then the big man told his colleagues to strip me and rape me.
My God.